Hi, I'm John Brown, and welcome to my favorite aspect of boxing, defense. I've taken my share of shots to the head and never really enjoyed any of them. I think it goes without saying that boxing is more fun the less you get hit. Remember, boxing is the art of self-defense. I always felt that teaching a beginning boxer a solid defense will help keep him or her in the sport. To always think the best defense is a good offense can get you in trouble because you will neglect learning defense, and the price for this can be losing and putting your health at risk. In amateur boxing, the less you get hit, the better your chance of winning. Besides, not getting hit makes moms, wives, and girlfriends much happier. It's worth working on every night in the gym. Before we get started, we need to spend a few minutes talking about one of the most important aspects of defense, which is proper equipment. Defense is basically about safety, making the sport as safe as possible for participants, and one of the easiest ways to accomplish this is through the use of proper equipment. No matter how good your defense becomes, it is impossible to block or slip every punch, so it is imperative to have good, safe equipment. Over 25 years ago, I started Ringside because I felt that the equipment on the market at that time was not safe enough. Throughout the ensuing years, we have made great progress in developing and producing safer equipment for all boxers. For safety in the gym, we are basically talking about high-quality, well-designed sparring gloves, headgear, and mouthpieces. Due to individual preferences, Ringside has designed several types and styles of sparring gloves. Our top-of-the-line gloves, which are our Ultimate and Ringside line, come with a 4-layer combination of foam padding, which has been tested to be the most protective in the market. I have here a sample of our Ultimate glove, which is our top-of-the-line glove. It comes with extra thick padding, has our 4-layer system, has the Cool Max lining, and extra padding wrist supports. Actually, the finest sparring glove on the market. To introduce some of our other sparring gloves, I'd like to bring in my partner, Albert Guardado, member of the 1996 Olympic team. Albert, what do you got there?
Thank you, John. This is Ringside's Mexican-style sparring glove. More of a compact design, however, I will say it has more padding over the knuckle surface, more padding than most traditional Mexican-style sparring gloves. Also has a thick padded wrist for the extra support you need around your wrist. Now, Ringside realizes that 99% of the gyms out there are on a strict budget. That's one of the reasons why we developed our Contender line. Our Contender line includes speed bags, double end bags, medicine balls, bag gloves, sparring gloves, everything you need to equip your gym at half the price. Now, all our sparring gloves have this attached thumb to prevent your boxer getting thumbed in the eye. Also, they're available in anywhere between 14 and 20 ounces.
Albert, a couple of the other gloves. This is the kind of the stalwart of our line, our Ringside training glove. Been on the market for about 20 years. We've redesigned it probably 15 times to make it the best we can make it. Again, 4-layer padding, strong wrist supports, attached thumb, and another glove we have is our international glove, which people like. It's a little bit sleeker design, a little bit more compact, and all of these gloves come with the lace-up style, and they also come with the Ringside design, Velcro, and lace cover slip-on glove, which makes it very easy to put on and take off in a crowded gym, so you can do it very quickly. Again, these are key to safety. All of our Ringside gloves, again, they're the only ones on the market with the 4-layer padding, which is most protective on the market, which will help absorb shock, and because sparring in the gym is supposed to be a learning experience and not to see how tough a guy is. Next, it is extremely important to have a well-fitting protective headgear. I strongly recommend the line produced by Fight Gear. At producing quality headgear protectors is their only business, and they do it very well. Again, personal preference comes into play, but a good rule of thumb is the more protective, the better. The purpose of the headgear is to help absorb the shock of blows, protect the eyes and nose, and protect against headbutting. Let's look at the Fight Gear line. This is one of my favorites. This is the Mexican-style headgear. Has the extra thick cheek protectors, which will protect the nose almost completely. Thick leather cover, also has leather on the inside, which helps absorb the sweat and makes it so it doesn't slip very much. prevent them slipping. All of it's fixed properly. Has the extra thick ear protectors, help protect against perforated eardrums. Comes in various sizes, and you can adjust it at the top, the back, and also the chin, so they fit very tightly. This one also has memory foam. This is the Face Saver headgear, developed by Fight Gear. Has a plastic bar going across the lower nose area. It completely protects the nose from even receiving any type of blow at all. So it's a great headgear if you do have a slight nose injury or if you're worried about protecting your nose. Provide total protection for your eyes. Very lightweight, around 10 ounces. Totally adjustable at the top, adjustable at the back, and of course adjustable at the chin strap. Also does protect your jaw with lower jaw protectors. Has the suede lining to absorb sweat, so it becomes very difficult to slip. And again, if you've got a nose you want to protect, or if you get a nose injured a little bit in the gym or get banged up a little bit, you can wear this and keep sparring. So it's a very valuable headgear for in the gym. The next headgear are the more traditional headgears. This is the traditional training headgear. Has thick cheek protectors, 3-layer special foam, has cool match lining, all leather, adjustable at the back and also at the chin. Will provide great protection. Next headgear is the full face headgear, basically the same as the traditional, except it does have a chin protector, and again, pretty much protects the whole face. Leather covers suede on the inside to absorb the sweat, totally adjustable. Our next headgear is the hot-selling Air Max headgear, designed by Fight Gear, and it has a mesh lining and perforated foam, and what this does, it causes it to dry very quickly. And by drying very quickly, number one, you don't have to put on wet headgear the next night, and number two, it stops it from accumulating any odor that comes with a lot of usage. This headgear has, like all Fight Gear headgear, has a large cheek protectors, totally adjustable at the top and the back and the chin, and it's very lightweight, has a cool mat lining which makes it very comfortable, and again, it dries very quickly. And this is something very important because there's nothing, again, worse than putting on wet headgear. Now, guys, what we got to remember here, we're talking about something very important. Protecting your head, protecting yourself in the gym. So be very careful. Make sure you buy a top quality headgear, and these are the best on the market, and this is what you've got to do because it's part of the system. You've got to have good gloves, good headgear, and good mouthpieces to protect yourself. And the more you protect yourself, the more fun sparring in the gym is going to be.
As John mentioned, one of the most important pieces of equipment in the gym and during competition, and probably the most subtle, is the mouthpiece. And for obvious reasons. The mouthpiece helps protect the teeth, the jaw, and ultimately the brain by absorbing some of the impact of each punch. Now, like Ringside sparring gloves and competition gloves and Fight Gear's headgear, our mouthpieces are available in a wide variety of models, all of them able to be form-fitted to your individual mouth, and it's very important that you do so. There's nothing worse or more dangerous than witnessing a competitor's mouthpiece being knocked out of their mouth when they get hit. So be sure to, as soon as you get your mouthpiece, to form-fit it to your mouth. Now, let's start off with just our basic, what we like to call no frills boil and bite 801 mouthpiece. Very basic. It fits to the top portion of your mouth. You boil and bite it, stick it in some hot water, and bite on it for a minute or two, and you're good to go. Basic no frills mouthpiece. A mouthpiece similar to our 801 is this mouthpiece, which instead of boiling and biting it, you pour this like a mold inside the mouthpiece and bite on it for a little while, and you have a perfect mold to your teeth. So another good standard mouthpiece. Ringside Shock Doctor, a step up from the mouthpieces I just showed you. Another single guard in that it fits only on the top portion of your mouth. Has a nice little breathing hole right in the middle of the mouthpiece so that you can keep your jaw clenched and still breathe. So a very good mouthpiece. Our higher end mouthpieces include our Whips mouthpiece. This is a double mouthpiece in that it covers both the top and bottom portions of your jaw, and has an extra large breathing hole so that you can maintain, again, that clenched jaw and still be able to get enough oxygen into your system. Lastly, you have our Power Guard mouthpiece that has this patented double layer dual material construction, also has the breathing hole in the center so that you can, again, maintain that clenched jaw and breathe normally. So a fantastic variety of mouthpieces for your protection.
Okay, we've talked about proper equipment. Now it's time to move on to learning defense. But before we can learn defense, we have to have proper basic fundamentals of offense and fundamental style and fundamental stance, okay? So now we have videos that go through this in detail, but we're going to do it very quickly here. I've got a couple aspiring young amateur boxers to help me, Deion Stanley and Joe Mohegan here. And these guys, we're going to, again, briefly go through the basic fundamental stance, because without the fundamental stance, we're not going to be able to move on to defense. So let's start, fellas. 4 basic offensive fundamentals for your stance. Left foot out front, left shoulder out front. Feet apart the length of a normal step. Okay, excellent. Number 1. Number 2, elbows in front of the body. And when we do number 2, elbow in front of the body, it puts the hands in a proper place, which is in front of the head. The hands are a very good idea to protect the head, okay? So, excellent. Left shoulder out front. Having left shoulder out front is going to give us a little longer jab. And having the right hand and the right elbow in the proper place is going to give us our proper defense against the left jab, which Albert's going to get into in a minute, okay? And when we throw punches, which is number 4, which we're not doing right now, but the idea is to bring them straight out, straight back to protect the head. That's why God made our hands, is to protect our head, okay? So the closer we keep the head, the more protected we're going to be. That's excellent, okay? There's our basic fundamental stance, and now we're ready to learn basic fundamental defense. Albert, you want to come in and start?
Sure. Good job, guys. We got our basic fundamental stance down. Now we're going to move on to the most fundamental defensive maneuver in boxing, which is the defense against the left jab. There's 3 ways to go about that, one being the catch, one being the outside slip, and one being the inside slip. We're going to start off with the catch. A good thing to keep in mind is it's just like you're catching a baseball. You're in your stance. You just turn your hand and not necessarily open it, but you in the glove you just catch it. You catch it. Now it's important also not to reach for the jab. If you reach for the jab, a lot of times your opponent will fake the jab. You'll reach for it and he'll come around and hit you with the hook. So it's important to block as close to your face as possible. Why don't we go ahead and demonstrate that? Go. You start off throwing a jab, block it, and counter. Good, good. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Good, good. Take a minute. It's also important to remember that a lot of times when a boxer throws a jab, he neglects to think about defense. So sometimes when 2 boxers throw a jab at the same time, they're both getting hit because they're throwing and their opponent's jab is getting through. So sometimes when you throw a jab, you must also think about defense at the same time. You must block at the same time. Okay, just throw a jab at the same time to demonstrate that, all right? Excellent job. Great, guys.
So Albert, what they're doing is when they throw a jab, instead of doing like a bow and arrow and pulling their right hand back, they're actually putting their right hand in front of their face to protect their face. So if I throw a jab, do a slow motion, I put this right hand in front of my nose, throw your jab, I can block it.
That's exactly
I really don't lose anything on my offense because I can still fire my right hand from this position. So I'm amazed at how often I see professional boxers and they'll throw a jab and they pull it back, leaving themselves completely vulnerable for a left jab. It's just beyond comprehension.
I agree.
And so this, eventually I think we're going to talk about how to put this into a drill that they can practice every night.
Correct.
The second defense against the left jab is we're going to talk about slipping, okay? And there's outside and inside slip. Outside being slipping outside of my body, which is going to be to the boxer's right. Okay, slipping outside my body. Inside slip will be moving inside. Now inside moving to my right hand. It's a dangerous slip, but you got to feel out your opponent at first to make sure he doesn't throw a good right hand.